Well, we are running from Tropical Storm Debby, but pretty strong. We're seeing 40 to 50 knots of wind in this location. So we're just gonna move. We're gonna go north. It's 24 knots gusting out in the bay, so 15 to 24, and we need to get into Deltaville before the thunderstorms start this afternoon. I don't know if we have enough time to do it. We might be sailing in thunderstorms. Let's see if we can get this done today.
We were able to leave, and we had a motor for, I don't know, a couple miles because we were pretty much nose into the wind. But now we've made a couple turns and we're doing pretty good right now. What's our wind speed, Tam?
We're at 12 to 13 knots.
We got the full sails up, everything's up, 60-degree wind angle, and I think we were going like 5.3 knots, right, babe?
Yeah.
So now we're actually picking up some speed. We're doing pretty good right now.
But the problem is, the thunderstorms are supposed to start at 2, and we're not supposed to get there till 3:30.
So hopefully, as we make another turn, maybe we can pick up another knot of speed and get in exactly at the same time as the thunderstorms. I know, but I've had 2 weather notifications right now. The first one was about thunder showers this afternoon, and the second one said something about soggy thunder showers happening this afternoon. So apparently not only the thunder showers are going to be normal thunder showers, they're going to make you soggy. Anyway, we're booking it to Deltaville. Booking it. We're dead downwind with 3 knots of apparent wind, which means there's just nothing to move our boat. And how far is it to our destination here?
We've got 3.5 hours.
I didn't ask how long, but I guess that'll work. 3.5 hours.
18 nautical miles.
3.5 hours to our destination at this current rate of speed, which we're actually doing 5.1 knots. With basically our motor on, sails are just centered right now and raised. Geno's rolled up. We're considering dropping the main and the mizzen because they're actually not helping right now.
Well,
we'll watch it for a little bit.
Stable.
They are.
It's pretty rough out
They
there.
are stabilizing it because we got residual waves from the. You might be able to see behind me how much we're moving. I don't know. Residual waves from the wind this morning, but we did just get a Coast Guard announcement about super strong winds in the Chesapeake this afternoon.
And that we shouldn't be out here.
Well, advising inexperienced mariners and those in small vessels to not be out here. Now, we have more experience, but that doesn't mean that we want to actually be in a position, because about that time is when we'll be going into Deltaville, which has actually a really tight inlet. And people do, that's when people run aground on, right? People run aground on it because it's really narrow. And if you're fighting winds trying to get in there, it could blow you off course a little bit. So we want to get in ahead of time.
We still have very little wind. I mean, we're going 5 knots. It's dead downwind, and it says we have 5, which means we have about 10 knots of wind. And because it's from behind us, everything has calmed way down. And it feels like you're going so slow. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so slow. But it's 5.5 knots. So the waves have calmed down because they're not hitting us against the beam. But you know, it's still pretty rocky out here. But it just always feels so much calmer when it's right behind you. Feels like you're going so slow. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so slow. But it's 5.5 knots. So, wish we didn't have to motor. But I don't want to be stuck in those storms. At anchor, we saw 34 yesterday. And the day before that, we saw 39.5 during these kind of thunderstorms. I'd rather be at anchor and know we're good and stuck and in some protected area than out here. We've done it. We can do it if we have to. I just don't want to. Am I a real sailor if I'm not willing to deal with those kinds of storms? I don't know. Like, why do I have, I mean, it's the same thing about why we're leaving. We were talking to a different boat in the anchorage about leaving, and they were like, this is as good a place as any. And I'm like, yeah, but if I can move, why wouldn't I move? Why would I risk that, right? We're just pretty risk averse. We don't have full coverage on this boat. It's not like, oh, well, if something happens, you just have insurance. We don't have insurance, so we are extra careful.
Where are we at? Let's see. 87% on our battery, we're pulling 57 amps. Periodically, I just go check everything down here and make sure it's all running the way it's supposed to be, so nothing weird is happening. So those flashing lights are our Delta chargers for the motor bank that we use when we're hybrid with the generator.
We've been watching this thing out here, and we thought, is this a boat? What is this thing out here? It's not on AIS, and we're like, it's really big to not be on AIS. Our buddy boat is up ahead of us. They were going past it, and we were like, what is that? It is a lighthouse. Hardly on the charts. I had to zoom in really tiny for something so big. And it says, as of 2022, it's not lit anymore, which means in the dark, you can't see it. And when you're zoomed out like a quarter mile, it's underneath of this. So that little tiny thing, so if I click on it, it says land area. You thought it was anchored.
Just not knowing what it was, you know? I mean, usually the bigger structures like that will have an AIS on them as well that broadcasts and tells you what it is. I mean, we've had that with like bridge abutments or some of the other floating structures. They'll have an AIS thing that'll say, you know, this is a
buoys even.
Buoy even,
yeah.
You know, or whatever. But something, you'd think that a lighthouse would actually broadcast something saying it's a lighthouse.
I'm hungry. You gonna make us lunch?
But I tell you, I saw a fish jump out of the water here. He had to come out 6 feet, man. He was flying. Make lunch.
Yeah. You don't want to make lunch? Oh, the problem is we don't have a lot. I would do like a tuna salad on some lettuce.
That's your ball game. I'll drive.
All right, I'll make lunch. All right, so Todd's doing a walkabout, just checking out the sails and all the equipment, making sure everything is ship shape.
It looks good. When it's calm like this and everything's out, you might as well go up and inspect everything, you know?
Yeah, we lost a cotter pin, or what was that we lost?
Ring terminal or something, you know, spins through. Came out on the Outhaul for the main mast.
I saw it pop out.
We never did find the ring terminal for it. Because our mainsail has clips on the bottom, it wasn't a huge problem, and we were almost done anyway, but if it had been a loose-footed sail, that whole back end could have come loose.
Well, so what is the radar telling us about the storms? Are they going to happen at 2?
What time is it now? 2 o'clock. It goes out to about 3:15 and I don't see anything. So hopefully we're good for getting into Deltaville.
Got these weird clouds. Well, we are almost there. This up here is where we're going in. Right up here. Got about an hour. And the next challenge to getting in there safe, we've got a couple more ahead of us. And we are crossing an area that is marked on the channel as fish trap area. It could be nothing. It could have lots of things we have to move and over around. See anything yet?
Nope. Seeing Nova Star's about 1.5 miles in front of us.
Yeah, they are.
They're pretty.
It is. It's a nice day. Not too hot. You say our air conditioning is on in our room?
Well, the generator's running and I got amperage that I'm dumping down the drain. So I have enough to run the air conditioner. I might as well run it. At least it'll dry the room out, suck some of the moisture out of there maybe, you know?
Right. Alright, so these clouds back here are starting to build, but that's the direction that those storms are forecast to come from. We're in that area and there are crab pots in here. So Todd's out on the bow calling me on the radio to tell me which direction to go. We're almost to the channel. See the green marker over there?
Yeah, you was one here off our port pipe, but I don't see any more in front of it. At the end of this line.
That was the last one you see? Alright, I'm going to bear off to the port side.
So far you're still looking pretty clear. I don't see anything coming up.
It looks like we are going to beat anything big that's coming our way. Yay! Okay, this is so sketchy, guys. It was very tight. Reading reviews on the inlet into Deltaville will give you nightmares. It is very shallow and narrow with multiple turns. It tends to develop shoaling and boats run aground often. Oh, very tight. How deep is it?
4.6 under the keel.
So
9.5 feet.
So we're watching Navionics, and this Aqua Map is a year old.
Which makes it really nice to see, right?
Yeah.
This is how shallow it is. You're standing in the water.
Might need to settle into the mud.
All right, back up a little bit. Keep going. Tighten it up. Harder.
When we're backing up on the anchor, Todd will line up 2 points on land and watch to make sure that we aren't dragging backwards. You good? Yes?
Keep it on for a second.
So we've got the storm coming in. We can hear the thunder. We made it. We also use a rangefinder to check the distances from land, docks, and other boats easily and accurately to be sure we won't swing and hit them.
About 175 feet there.
All right, we should be good. It's starting to get dark and build. Now we gotta batten down the boat. Temperature's starting to drop. We have a 7-to-1 scope out right now. putting things away. I thought that storm is right there. It's got thunder I can hear. Gotta put away the sails. Can't celebrate till it's all done, right?
That's right. That lady hasn't sung yet, right?
That's right. If you get rained on, does that mean we didn't make it?
I'll count it as a win unless the sail blows up and we take off.
The rain is here, but we got it all battened down and put away just in time. We did it.
We've only been here like 15, maybe 25, maybe.
Yeah.
The time we got anchored.
This is our first time at Deltaville. It is a cute little place.
Join us next week as we race to arrive in our hurricane hole ahead of Tropical Storm Debby so that we can add a second anchor to our boat and make sure that we're prepped well for whatever is coming our way.